Okay, so I'm working on this Saturn Ion today, and it came in because the AC is not working. It's not blowing air or anything. Typically, I would start with checking fuses, but the blower motor is pretty accessible, so I'm going to use my power probe to first test to make sure that the blower motor is good. So, I'm going to get on this orange wire, and you can hear that. That's ground. And when I apply power, you can hear that the blower motor turns on, which tells me that the blower motor itself has not failed. My next step is going to be to check all of the fuses. So these big J-case fuses, I'm just going to visually inspect and see that they're not blown, and they're not. And then I'm going to use my power probe. You can use a test light as well to test all the fuses. Okay, so all of the underhood fuses tested good. Now we're going to check the passenger compartment fuse block. This one is a little bit harder to get to. You have to pull this panel off. I mean, it's still pretty simple, but it's just not in a usual location. So again, we're going to inspect the J-case fuses, and they're good. And I'm going to go ahead and test all of these fuses under here. One thing I forgot to mention is you do want to make sure that the ignition is in the on position when you're checking fuses. So all of those fuses tested good too. And the next step I'm going to take is get a wiring diagram and look at which relay is the blower motor relay. There's not a label on the fuse blocks, so I've got to go to the internet and find out which relay it is. Okay, so I printed out all my diagrams. Here I've got the under hood fuse block, the body control module, which is the passenger compartment fuse block, and then I've got my wiring diagram. This vehicle doesn't have a dedicated blower control or blower motor relay. It has this run relay, which is going to be right here. So I want to first see if we have power and ground in the right places at this relay and test this relay. So I'm going to hook my ground up here and put my power probe on here, and then I'm going to supply power and see if it clicks. So this relay is clicking, which tells me that it's working properly. Now we need to come here on the fuse box and make sure I've got power and ground to the right places here. And to help me out, I'm going to use this relay tester that the relay plugs into, and then I can put it right here. Okay, so now with the AC on, we're going to see what we've got. Let me turn the sound back on. Okay, so I have power, 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 and ground. And that's what I should have, because I've got power all the time here, and then I've also got power supplied here to the top of the relay. And then when this closes, or sorry, when this is energized, when you got power here and ground here, then this coil energizes and it closes this switch right here, which then supplies power down here to the control head. So the next step is going to be to pull the control head out to where I can access the plugs on the back side of it. Okay, so on this one, it was a little bit more difficult than anticipated to pull that control head out, because they put these plastic pieces in too close. So I went ahead and just pulled the radio out, and now I can access the plug right here. And I think we have located our problem. And there's the back side of the control head where that plug goes into. So I'm going to recommend a new control head and a pigtail, and when the parts come in, if the customer approves it, I will post a part 2 of me fixing it.